Yeah, Troy, things obviously are getting late, and you try to keep an even keel no matter what the game is. But certainly there's some urgency, I
Yeah.
imagine, playing at home against the defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I think urgency is the right word, and I want to see more urgency out of our side than what we saw in this last week versus Philadelphia. I mean, what we've communicated to the group is that's not the type of performance that we ever want to display. But at the same time, we do have to move on quickly, and urgency is again the right word because that means that we are recognizing the moment. We're recognizing about how we want to go and take the game to Columbus as much as we can. I mean, this is a team that's extremely talented. Clearly, they've had a lot of success, not only winning the league last year, MLS Cup that is, but also Leagues Cup recently, winning that championship. Last night they had a championship match for Club America. So, I mean, the way that they've progressed over the last couple of years is really impressive. We know that they're going to be a tough opponent, but we can't at the same time allow them to come in and just dictate the way that the match is played because they're very good at doing that. So we're going to try to put our match plan together. We're going to try to make sure that we have the right mindset. I think that's critical to having success against an opponent like this. And we believe in what we can do.
Matai and Jackson still out.
Yeah, Matai, Jackson, Connor, David Schnegg. Those guys are still going to be out.
Yeah. Who would you say is the closest?
I think David Schnegg probably has another week to 2 weeks. You know, I don't again know the exact timeline, but he's probably the closest, I would say. Yeah.
Troy, after the game Sunday, you said both one, credit to Philadelphia, but then two, you wanted to review the match. Get a handle on what was missing on the day. Once you did that, was it down to more performance levels collectively, or was it something in the game plan maybe that was missing? What did you take away from this?
Yeah, you know, I think we started the match really well. I think we could have probably scored a goal early on in the match, and I liked how we came out. But then there was a lack of intensity, even through that period of starting the match in the right way in terms of being able to create a couple chances. I didn't feel like we were all the way there on the night. And the intensity that we have to play at, the aggression that we like to play at against every single opponent is how we're going to end up winning matches. And so whenever the match plan's not exactly right, I mean, you've heard me consistently all year, I look at myself in that regard more than anyone does, and I try to take that responsibility. But we have to say that individually, collectively, we were not all the way there the other night. And if that's the way that we come out in any of these last four matches, then we're not going to be able to achieve what we want to achieve this year.
Looking over this week in training, obviously, if when you cite a performance level issue throughout the whole team, you're probably looking for a response in training. What have you seen out of the group to indicate that they've kind of turned it around and can deliver at a higher level on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought we had a really good training session yesterday. When we came back into training on Tuesday, it was kind of a split group day in terms of some guys needed to recover and some guys needed to train hard. But all 3 days we've seen that the groups responded, they're ready to go, and it's a big test. We also want to improve our home form. I mean, that's something that we're well aware of as well. It hasn't been where it needs to be this year. And when you have an opponent like this coming in Columbus, we know that we're going to get their best. They're the best team in the league in so many ways. So we want to stand up to that type of opponent and have the right performance at home for our fans.
Mentioning Columbus, early a few months ago, but you went to Columbus, you had the lead, you played them very close. I think it was a very competitive game. They scored very late. I know both teams change a lot during the course of the season, but is there something you can take away from that performance and that result that you can then apply on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely takeaways from the earlier match against Columbus, but at the same time, that is a long time ago. That was in March or April, I want to say, and I think that they have a clear identity. So we saw that identity then. They've had some different personnel come in and out, not only from that match, but they've added to their roster as well, as have we. And so I think we have a clear identity as well, and while that you can have some takeaways from that match, I think both teams have evolved in a different way throughout the last 4 or 5 months.
With just 4 games left, and obviously you guys are just a few points out of the playoff spot. Do tell the guys, and do you treat this week, this match coming up against Columbus, do you treat it like as if this is the playoffs already for you guys at this point?
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to what Steve mentioned earlier, I think understanding the level of urgency that we need to have is probably the best way to frame it. And we all recognize where we are in the season right now. We recognize that we need to pick up points. We know what the opponent is that's coming in. We have a great deal of respect for them, but we also have to come and be ready to put ourselves in a position for the last 3 matches where we give ourselves a chance. And I think things can change very quickly on Saturday in a positive way. Many of the opponents that are in and around the same area as us are playing against one another. So, Saturday night things could look a lot different, and I'm really hopeful if we have the right performance, that can be one where we move up the table.
When you talk about the urgency of the message to these players, how do you feel like this week they're responding to what you're hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, the response is there. The entire year, I haven't felt like any time that we've had a low performance level, I never have felt like the guys have been disconnected towards trying to come back and make sure that we respond in the right way. And so that's what I feel for this week.
And then, sometimes you hear from coaches certain things at certain points, especially late in the season, like we're playing our best at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the team is at the best spot that they've been this year right now, ready for this push?
Yeah, I mean, over the last 10 matches, I think we've had a lot of success. And I think Saturday, over the last 10 matches, Saturday was an outlier this past Saturday. And so, it's a reminder of we have to be ourselves. We have to play up to our standard and our identity. And if we do that, then we can go back to the success that we achieved in the previous 9 matches.
We'll go back to CFO. Baji came in
Mm-hmm.
late in the year, one of the mid-season signings. What did you see in him, or what did you know about him in the decision to bring him in, and what has he offered?
Yeah, I mean, our connection and relationship goes back to 2015. I've known him since he was a rookie in the league. I was with the Charlotte Independents, and he was with the Colorado Rapids, which was our MLS affiliate at the time. So he came on loan for 7 matches, I want to say, whenever I was working there, and we stayed connected ever since. And he's someone that I've followed his career closely. I know him as a person, and he's always someone that I've had a lot of respect for. And he's had the type of career where you've been able to play for 10 seasons and make an impact at a lot of different clubs. And that's the type of experience that I wanted to bring here, not only because I knew him and I knew his ability as a player, but his mentality is the type of mentality that we need to have. There's no surprise that he was a starter on a Supporter Shield winner last year. That's not easy to do, going to a place like Cincinnati and finding yourself as in a starting position there.
Matt, we'll take some from Zoom now.
Yeah.
We'll go to Dave Johnson.
Hey, Troy, what do you need to get goals to jumpstart the offense? It's been a couple of games without goals in the run of play. Anything that you've noticed from the last couple of games that you might want to be different in the Final Four, or specifically Saturday?
I think the chances have been there. It would be one thing if the chances weren't there. I think that we look at the other night against Philadelphia, and Gabby has a big chance, as does Jared. Aaron Herrera has one. Christian Benteke had a really big one that Andre Blake saved. So, the chances were there in that match. And if you go back to New York City, I think you can say the same thing. There's 3-4 big chances in the match where we just don't convert. And to me, it's more about the conversion than anything, and making sure that we continue to get into those situations, because in the matches previous to that, we were scoring 3 and 4 goals in a row, for 7 matches, 8 matches in a row. And that's not easy to do. So I don't ever want to create the narrative that, the goals need to come whenever we're creating the chances. They'll come if we keep creating the chances.
You mentioned clear identity for both teams. How would you describe the clear identity for the 2 teams this week?
Yeah, I really respect Columbus and how they play. I mean, they're excellent with the ball. I mean, they clearly want to have the ball. They want to try to provoke the opponent to come out, and when they do that, they understand the right combinations that they need to be in to be able to break down an opponent and score goals. You talk about chance creation; they're one of the best in the league at it. They're also really good. I don't think they get enough credit about how they can counter press and hit you in attack and transition as well. That's how they score a lot of goals as well. And for us, I think you're seeing a mentality of a group that's building in the first year of trying to be aggressive. Not many opponents play through us, and we take a lot of pride in that. We create a lot of ball wins in the middle of the field, one of the best in the league at it. And we go and attack and transition ourselves in a really good way. So these two styles are a little bit conflicting, but I think it'll make for a fun match on Saturday night.
In case you're wondering, all's quiet out here in Leesburg.
All right.
Pay attention very well.
I'm sorry you're out there, and we'd love to have you here.
Yeah, good luck Saturday.
All right, thanks, Dave.
That's all, Troy. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.